In this video, we will talk about how climate change is driving global news headlines, so make sure to watch the full video. Climate change has dominated global news headlines in 2024, influencing a wide range of issues from extreme weather events to political debates and economic struggles. Record-breaking temperatures, devastating wildfires, and rising sea levels have underscored the urgency of addressing this crisis. Communities are grappling with water scarcity, biodiversity loss, and economic fallout, while youth activists push for stronger action. These events highlight the undeniable link between climate change and global challenges, emphasizing the need for immediate and sustained efforts to mitigate its impact. This article delves into how climate change has shaped the year's most significant news stories and the path forward. 1. Record-breaking temperatures. The world faces unprecedented heat waves this year. The planet experienced some of the highest temperatures ever recorded, leading to widespread heat waves affecting millions. Cities across the globe reported extreme weather conditions, disrupting daily life and putting immense pressure on infrastructure and healthcare systems. Crops failed in regions that rely on predictable weather, exacerbating food insecurity. Scientists link these heat waves to rising greenhouse gas emissions, sparking urgent calls for immediate climate action. The soaring temperatures also intensified debates over the responsibility of governments and corporations to reduce emissions and invest in sustainable solutions. 2. Melting ice caps and rising sea levels. Coastal communities at risk. Polar ice caps continue to melt at alarming rates, contributing to rising sea levels that threaten low-lying coastal regions worldwide. Cities like Jakarta and Miami are already experiencing the impacts, with frequent flooding and land erosion becoming new norms. Scientists warn that without swift action, entire island nations could disappear within decades. The humanitarian crisis looms large as millions face displacement, prompting debates over climate-induced migration. These events brought renewed attention to the urgent need for global cooperation in reducing emissions and funding adaptation measures for vulnerable communities. 3. Wildfires rage across continents. Destruction and resilience. Massive wildfires swept through forests, grasslands, and even urban areas, devastating ecosystems and livelihoods. From the Amazon to Australia and California, these fires released billions of tons of carbon dioxide, worsening the climate crisis. Governments struggled to contain the blazes, with firefighters working tirelessly against extreme conditions. Communities faced evacuation, losing homes and businesses to the flames. Environmentalists emphasize the role of climate change in creating drier, hotter conditions that fuel these fires. The tragedy sparked discussions about forest management practices and the need for increased funding for fire prevention and mitigation strategies. 4. Droughts and water scarcity. The struggle for a vital resource. Prolonged droughts have gripped regions worldwide, intensifying the struggle for access to clean water. Countries in Africa, the Middle East, and South Asia face severe shortages, impacting agriculture, health, and economies. Rivers and reservoirs reached historically low levels, leaving millions without sufficient water for drinking and irrigation. These droughts, often exacerbated by climate change, highlighted the urgent need for innovative water management strategies. The crisis also underscored the interconnectedness of climate change with food security and economic stability, pushing policymakers to prioritize sustainable water usage and conservation efforts. 5. Extreme storms and flooding. The cost of catastrophic weather events this year saw an increase in the frequency and intensity of hurricanes, typhoons, and floods, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. Coastal regions and small island nations were hit hardest, with storm surges and heavy rainfall inundating cities and destroying infrastructure. The economic toll of these disasters reached billions of dollars, overwhelming disaster relief systems. Scientists attributed the growing intensity of storms to warming oceans and changing weather patterns. These events underscored the need for robust disaster preparedness and international cooperation to address the root causes of climate-induced extreme weather. 6. Biodiversity loss. Species extinction and ecosystem collapse. Climate change has accelerated biodiversity loss, with thousands of species facing extinction due to habitat destruction, changing temperatures, and altered ecosystems. Coral reefs, critical to marine life, are dying at alarming rates due to ocean warming and acidification. Forests, which serve as carbon sinks, are being degraded, further destabilizing the environment. The loss of biodiversity not only impacts wildlife but also threatens human livelihoods and food systems. Environmentalists called for stronger conservation efforts and international policies to protect ecosystems and halt deforestation, emphasizing the role of nature in combating climate change. 7. Economic impacts of climate change. A growing global concern, the economic consequences of climate change became increasingly evident, with billions of dollars lost to natural disasters, crop failures, and disrupted supply chains. Insurance industries faced mounting claims, while governments grappled with the costs of rebuilding and adaptation measures. Climate-related economic disparities widened as developing nations struggled to cope with the financial burden. Economists highlighted the need for green investments and sustainable development to mitigate these impacts. The growing economic toll added urgency to global climate negotiations, with calls for financial support to vulnerable nations gaining prominence. 8. Youth activism. A new generation demands climate justice. Young activists continued to lead the charge for climate action, organizing protests, strikes, and advocacy campaigns worldwide. Figures like Greta Thunberg inspired millions to demand accountability from governments and corporations. Social media platforms amplified their voices, turning local movements into global phenomena. Youth activists highlighted the intergenerational injustice of climate inaction, calling for immediate changes to ensure a sustainable future. Their efforts influenced political agendas, putting climate change at the forefront of discussions and urging leaders to adopt more ambitious goals. 9. Climate migration. The human cost of a warming planet. Rising sea levels, extreme weather, and resource scarcity forced millions to leave their homes, creating a new wave of climate refugees. Nations struggled to address the influx of displaced people, leading to political tensions and humanitarian challenges. Border policies and asylum systems came under scrutiny as activists demanded compassionate responses to climate migration. The plight of these migrants highlighted the unequal impacts of climate change, with vulnerable populations bearing the brunt of the crisis. These migrations emphasize the urgent need for international frameworks to address climate-induced displacement and provide long-term solutions. 10. Global climate agreements. Progress and setbacks. International climate negotiations saw both breakthroughs and obstacles this year. While some nations committed to ambitious emission reduction targets, others resisted, citing economic concerns and national interests. The disparity between promises and actions remained a significant challenge, with activists criticizing the slow pace of progress. Financial commitments to support developing nations fell short, further straining relations between global powers. Despite setbacks, the agreements reflected growing awareness and willingness to tackle climate change collectively. These discussions underscored the importance of collaboration and accountability in addressing the most pressing global challenge of our time. The year 2024 has been marked by a series of climate change-related events that have reshaped our understanding of the planet's future. From record heat waves to devastating wildfires and rising sea levels, the impact of climate change has been felt across the globe. These events have sparked debates, protests, and a push for stronger action to combat the crisis. As the world faces growing environmental challenges, it is clear that urgent and coordinated efforts are needed to address climate change. The lessons learned this year should drive global cooperation and inspire lasting solutions to secure a sustainable future. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel before you go. Thank you for watching.